everything, but two things, Sharira Yatra and Ishvara Chintana. Even if one doesn't study Vedanta, it doesn't matter. In the morning, get up and cry before God. God, show me the direction. Inspire me towards the right things. See? Inspire me towards the right thing. You know, the things for which you have no inspiration, even if those things are valued by the whole world, you are not going to miss them. You see, that is the secret. The things for which you have no inspiration. Something is going on there. The things for which you have no inspiration. Even if the whole world values it, are you going to miss them? You are not going to miss them. Supposing you have a value for being honest, let us say. So even if the whole world is dishonest, are you going to miss dishonesty? Oh, I wish I too could be a little dishonest. That's why even if one doesn't study Vedanta, in the morning at least get ready and sit down and cry before God. God, give me right inspiration. Let me sacrifice, let me live my life for truth. Let me live my life either to remember God or to understand God. Either prayer to God or study anything. And one should not even think of, the others. One should not judge one's success, in material terms. Never do it. It's deceptive. Never judge your success in material terms. It's misleading. Judge your success in terms of, how best you are using your life for the truth, for your shanti, for your health, for your peace, and for your knowledge. Three things. For your health, peace, and knowledge. Time ho gaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purana Namalayam Garunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritam Vande Bhagavatam Punah Punah. So this is what we are doing. In order to be free from the limitation of the body, there is no need to renounce the body. In order to be free from the limitation of the body, one doesn't have to leave the body. Because the feeling that I am limited to the body is only a feeling, is only a notion. Because it is a notion, well, one can correct that notion and feel free from the sense of limitation. Therefore, this particular theory that as long as I have body, I am limited, this particular theory is wrong. One can be alive and still be free from the sense of limitation to the body. Like even the wave doesn't have to collapse to be water. The wave can remain wave and understand that I am not a form, I am water. The wave doesn't have to die to be free from the form. The wave doesn't have to die to be free from the form. The wave can remain because there is no way to die or be born. The wave lives with the notion that I am a form. And that notion has to go and then see I am a substance, I am water. It is free from that notion, free from the form. In that manner, a human being doesn't have to leave the body to be free from the body. He has to leave, rather he has to falsify this notion that I am the body. Is a notion. It is a correctable notion. And that is why here Bhagavan said, Tasmat mithya pratyaya nimittatvat sasharirattvasya siddham jivatopi vidushaha ashariratva. Embodiment being notional, freedom from embodiment can be discovered even when one is alive. Even when one is alive. See. Tathahi, tathacha brahmavid vishaya shruti. From here we have to see. And to highlight this particular point, here is the shruti. Here is a statement. Brahma, tathacha, to this effect, Brahma vid vishaya, talking about a Brahmajnani. Shruti, a statement. Here is a Vedantic statement talking about a Brahmajnani. You see? And what is that statement? That is said, Tat yatha. He gives an example. A Brahmajnani can be likened to what is said in this Vakya. Yatha, just as Ahi nirvayani. Ahi nirvayani means the skin of a snake's skin, the epidermis. A snake always, from time to time, it casts off its skin. Now, this particular, the snake casts off its skin. That skin also looks like a snake. At that point you can register. It looks like snake. And it leaves the skin and then it is gone. Ahi nirvayani, that up to that Ahi nirvayani means the skin of the snake. Valmike, in an anthill. Valmika means an anthill. Mrita, dead. Pratyastha, cast off. Pratyastha means left leg. Pratyastha, throw, cast off. Shayita, lies there. The skin of the snake lies in the anthill dead, meaning it is just inert. It lies abandoned in the ant hill by the snake. The skin of the snake just lies dead, lies inert, abandoned by the snake. This is the example for Brahma Vidya, for a Brahma Jnani. Evameva, in the same manner, idam shariram, this body, shete, it lies there abandoned by a Brahma Jnani. Everything has to be supplied. Just as the snake, just as the skin of the snake lies abandoned by the snake, so is the body of a Brahmajnani lies abandoned. This is the simile. Now this can trigger all a world of confusions. Man is not confused only when you don't say anything to him. Don't say anything, he is very clear. He is very peaceful. But if you say something, then it gets interpreted. Whatever is there gets interpreted. And different people interpret different. And therefore, in order to stop all those interpretations, we have to understand this Vakya in the light of the entirety of the Shastra. Snake abandons the snake and goes. A Jnani doesn't abandon the body and go. Casting off the skin is a process. But here there is no process. It should be understood. There it is a process of casting off. Here it is a process of understanding that I am not the body. That's all. It's a process means not process. I am just using the term. Here it is only knowing that I am not the body. Here it is understanding that I am not the body. Why? Because that we are not the body is not based upon a belief. That we are not the body is a fact evidenced by our own experiences. The three avasthas. That we are not the body is evidenced by our own experiences. That we assume it and that we leave it. That is good enough. What else? What more experience does one require? To cling, to absolutely cling that one is not the body. Like a shirt, we assume and leave it. So I am not the shirt, I only put it on and then leave it. So I am not the shirt. In what way is the body different from a shirt, really? The fact is, it is no different from a shirt. This is an example Bhagavan Krishna also gives, which can work up to a point. That I am not the shirt is within experience. Why? Because it is my experience that I put it on, and it is my experience that I take it off. So my experience proves to me that I am not the shirt. Why not? In that manner, every day I put on the body and I assume the body and I leave the body. When we assume the body, we call it waking state. And we leave the body, we call it deep sleep. It's an experience. Actually, experiencing deep sleep state means only leaving the sense of embodiment. Resolution of the sense of embodiment is otherwise called sleep. It is not becoming something, but it is leaving something. When a person falls asleep, he is not becoming something, he is only leaving something. And what is that? The sense of embodiment slowly dissolves. Like in meditation, you are not asked to become something. You are always asked to leave the thoughts. So let the thoughts resolve. So it is a state of resolution of thoughts. Resolution. Now when there is resolution of the thought in absolute terms, when the thought resolves in its entirety, and the resolution of the thought in its entirety means resolution of the thought along with the memory, that is called deep sleep. That is called deep sleep. Therefore, the resolution of our own mind is our own experience, and resolution of the mind means resolution of the idea that I am the body. Therefore, it is our experience. Freedom from the body is our experience. And again, assuming the body, we assume it and we leave it. Therefore, this experience, if this does not clinch, then what else is going to clinch? Independent of this experience, even if Bhagavan comes and tells you that you are not the body, you cannot be convinced. See, we have to see this point. What convinces us conclusively is our own obtaining experience. If there is no experience, and even if God were to come and tell us, we can't accept it. And therefore, in the case of the example of the snake, there we have to think, the snake doesn't become enlightened, it only gets detached from the snake. It is a process of detachment. Whereas in the case of Brahmajnanam, there is no detachment or attachment. It is discovering that I am not the form. Like the water, when the wave discovers that I am water, then it is free from the notion that I am the wave. See, the discovery that I am water implies freedom from the notion that I am the wave. There is no attachment. The water is not getting attached to the wave, nor is it really getting detached from the wave. It only understands I am not the wave, I am water, and in addition to water there is nothing. What about wave? There is no wave, another thing. It is a notion. It's a notion. And therefore, this is the example given for Brahmajnana. And therefore, in order to liberate, in order to be free, the way is self-understanding. Death does not guarantee peace. Death does not guarantee freedom. Death does not guarantee freedom from struggle and samsara. Death does not guarantee happiness. Death does not guarantee anything. In fact, death guarantees next life. Death guarantees next life. When a man dies in ignorance, then he will be born. And therefore, one doesn't have to glorify death unnecessarily. One should not look. Death is something to be understood, not death is something to be looked forward to. It is not something to look forward to. There is no use of looking forward to death. If one loves death, you don't have to look forward to it. You can have it right away. One can have it right away. And therefore, death is to be understood. Deep sleep has to be understood. Again, one need not look forward to deep sleep. Deep sleep, remember deep sleep and recognize one's presence in the waking, one's presence in the dream, and one's presence in the deep sleep. Because deep sleep state also is one's experience. Deep sleep is not negation of experience, but it is experience pertaining to negation of the thought and perception. In every class we do it. Every class I make this statement. There cannot be negation of experience. There can only be experience pertaining to negation. There can't be negation of awareness. There is always awareness pertaining to. There is always awareness pertaining to negation of thought and perception. Whatever gets negated, doesn't matter. And therefore, recognizing that everything indeed is one being, in this there is neither attachment nor detachment, because attachment is no problem, detachment is no solution. In fact, both attachment and detachment are a problem. If attachment and because attachment is followed by detachment, and detachment again is followed by attachment. Neither attachment is absolute nor detachment is absolute. Why? Because both are opposites, dvandvas. Both are dvandvas. And both as one block can't have another dvandva. To be free from both attachment and detachment, I have to see the falsity of both. In fact, one statement you can make, you can state categorically, all dvandvas are false. All dvandvas are false. All opposites are false. Because each replaces the other and both resolve at another time. Both resolve. In sleep, both resolve anyway. A realm of opposites resolves. A realm of like and dislike resolves in sleep. A realm of good and bad resolves in sleep. A realm of pain and pleasure resolves in sleep. A realm of, you understand? A realm of attachment and detachment resolves in sleep. Sleep is a state of peacefulness of one's being, and thus recognizing one's nature as free from the form and the opposites. That recognition is what is called casting off the body. Casting off the body means not literally casting off. There is no casting off, there is recognize. When the wave recognizes that I am water, it has cast off wave, the form, so to speak. Okay. Atha, then, just as the skin of the snake stands abandoned by the snake, so does the body of a Brahmajnani stands falsified. And there, in the case of the example of the snake leaves the skin and goes away. And here the Brahmajnani doesn't go anywhere. There is no going, there is no coming. Atha ayam, then this ayam, the Brahmajnani, ashariraha, remains free from embodiment. Asharira. He doesn't become free from embodiment, he recognizes that he has always been free from embodiment. He is by nature free from embodiment. He has always been free from embodiment. Asharira, Amrita, ever present. Amrita. Prana, the source of everything. Brahmaiva, and stands as Brahman. Tejaha eva, as pure awareness. He remains the unlimited being, free from the notion that I am the body. See, this confusion is between the unlimited being and the notion that I am the body. See? Fantastic. The problem is centered on the eternal. The notion is centered on the eternal. And the eternal, through the exposure to the Shastra and Acharya, he recognizes his nature and he stands himself. He doesn't become himself. He recognizes what he is not. And he recognizes what he is. There is only recognition and there is no other process. Clear? Like the wave only recognizes I am water. It doesn't become water. The wave doesn't become water. A बहुत बड़ी बात है जी. बहुत बड़ी बात. It is a weekend bath. Understand it? The weekend bath. Very important bath. It's a weekend, Sunday bath. What is that bath? Wave doesn't become water. Wave has always been water. It only recognizes. Similarly, man doesn't have to become truth. Man has always been the truth. He doesn't have to make an effort to become the truth. He has to make an effort to study and reflect and recognize that he is the truth. Therefore, the effort of reflection, the effort of education. There is an effort of education. Okay, that's over. Iti. Next vakya. Sachakshuhu achakshuriva. Sakarnaha akarnaha iva. Savag avag iva. Samanaha amanaha iva. Sapranaha apranaha iva iticha. We also have the vakyas which say like this. It is achakshuhu. The self is free from the fleshy eyes because it sees without the eyes. It's aware. Awareness does not depend upon the eye. It is achakshuhu by nature. Sachakshuhu iva. Looks as though having the fleshy eyes. By nature it is free from the senses. The eternal is free from the senses. But it only looks to have the senses. Sakarnaha akarnaha iva. It is akarnaha, that iva should be connected to the other thing. We have to change its position. Akarnaha. It is free from the ears. It is free from the fleshy ears. And it is seen to have ears. One doesn't have eyes, one says I have eyes. One doesn't have, the conscious being doesn't have eyes, but one says I have eyes. The conscious being doesn't have ears, and then one says I have ears. Understand? So see, what is Shruti saying? Hey, that you have eyes and ears is a notion, as though is a notion, and that you are free from the senses is a fact about it. Sakarnaha karnaha iva. Savak avag iva. You are free from the words. Your existence is independent of the speech. Your existence does not depend upon your speech. Your existence does not depend upon your eyes and ears. Your existence does not depend upon the faculty of speech. You see, you only take yourself to be a speaker. That's a notion. That I am a speaker is a notion. And freedom from speech is the truth. Savagavagiva. Samanaha amanahaiva. This is very beautiful. You are ever free from the thought. Your existence, say free from thought means we have to add. Your existence is ever free from and independent of thought. It's not that when thought is, I am there, when thought is gone, I am gone. No. Even when thought is gone, supposing, it's a very, very common sense logic. When thought is gone and I am gone, we are gone, let us say. When our thought is gone and we are gone, then who recognizes the negation of thought? When thought is gone, we are gone. Okay, then who registers the negation of the thought? Who registers? Because we all know that the thought collapses in total. Memory also collapses. And that is why people take medicine to facilitate the collapse of thought and memory. I don't know why people get so scared of death. People take medicine when they don't get sleep. Do you know what? They take compose to see that they lose their mind. And if you don't lose your mind till 12 o'clock, you feel very uncomfortable. And you take a compose to see that your mind collapse. We deliberately, make an effort to see that our mind collapses. Why? Because that state is much more acceptable, much more peaceful. I want to have peaceful existence. And therefore, our own experiences says that our existence is free from the mind. And to be free from the mind means what? To be existent, independent of mind. And what happens in death anyway? What happens in deep sleep, you take a compose and go to sleep. In that state, do you miss the waking state? Can you look back at the waking state? No. From deep sleep, you can't look back at the waking because there is no looking back or forward because the very thought dissolves. Similarly, a person who loses the mind and which we call death, he can't look back at life and then start missing it. If you don't miss the waking state in deep sleep, one also doesn't miss life in death, is it? And all sorrows, the known sorrows, understand, all the known sorrows are based upon only looking back and looking forward. Memory, perception and memory. In deep sleep you can't look, you don't miss anything of the world. In death also one doesn't miss anything because he is the truth. He remains free from all the identifications. Even though he doesn't understand, but by nature he stands as the truth, ununderstood. That doesn't matter. Because truth is truth, understood or ununderstood. Because truth is in the form of anubhava. Truth is in the form of aparoksha. And therefore, one doesn't have to keep living a life with the fear of death. One should live a life with a jignasa about death. Understanding death should be the topic of life. Understanding deep sleep is understanding sleep should be the topic of life. Death should not be the topic of one's fear, nor deep sleep should be the topic of one's love, attraction. One doesn't have to live to fall asleep and avoid death. One doesn't have to live in order to go to sleep 24 hours and then avoid. Because both are the same. Therefore, death is the topic for knowledge, like sleep is also topic for knowledge. And therefore the Shruti Vakya says, hey, recognize that you are by nature, your existence is independent of mana. Amanaha, you are by nature free from the mind. Samanaha iva, and you take yourself to be with the mind. That my existence depends upon the mind is the notion. And what is the anubhava? That you are independent of the mind. One is the notion, the other is the experience. The viveka has to be done between the obtaining anubhava and the felt. And where else can we do discerning anyway? What is the discerning? Discerning is only between the notion and the experience. That I experience freedom from the mind, that I am aware of the mind, I am also aware of its negation, that is anubhava. That I am aware of my mind, that I am aware of my thoughts, that I am aware of my memories, that I am aware of my pleasures and pains, that I am aware of my entire samsara, that I am also aware of my freedom from samsara in total. You see, I am aware of my samsara, I am also aware of freedom from samsara, the resolution of samsara. That is anubhava. And that only proves our existence independent of the mind. And that my existence depends upon the mind is a notion. Thus discerned between notion and anubhava. And that is what makes one Brahmajnani. What is Brahmajnani? The one who discerns between the notion and the anubhava. What else can we discern? When you say viveka, viveka, what is it to be discerned? Vivek karo. Vivek karo. If there are two objects, you don't do vivek, you just separate them. If it is association, where two hands are like this, now I have to separate them. If association is a problem, then you bring about dissociation. And dissociation is called viyoga. It is not viveka. Understand? Viyoga is different from viveka. This is called sanyoga. And suppose this is a problem for me, then what should you do? Viyoga. That is what happens. When you get married, it is sanyoga. And supposing it doesn't work, then viyoga. And again, if viyoga doesn't work again, sanyoga. But I am not in association with the body, I am looking upon myself as embodied. The unembodied self is seen as embodied, or the self that is independent of mind is seen as dependent upon mind. The very existence depends upon the mind. Then it is a mistake about the mind. Then I discern between the nature of the subject and the mind. That is called viveka, not viyoga. Viyoga is a process. Sanyoga is a process. Viyoga is a process. Viveka is education about what is. Like when the wave discovers I am water, is it viyoga or sanyoga? When the wave discovers I am water, is it viyoga or sanyoga? It is neither. It is viveka. It is viveka. It is viveka. And therefore, it is this viveka between the notion and the anubhava that makes one Brahman. And therefore it says, abhagavagi manaha manahayam sapranaha apranaha yitva. Even though man's existence is independent of breath, sapranaha iva, he thinks I am conditioned by, my existence is conditional to my breath. My existence is conditional to my mind. My existence is conditional to my eyes and ears. And similarly, my existence is conditional to my body. This conditionality of existence is felt, and this feeling is called the notion. And what is the anubhava? What is the anubhava? When we say what is the nature, nature means what? Anubhava, as anubhutam, as anubhava siddham. That is the nature. And what is the nature? Freedom from. Because one does leave the form, the senses, the memories and the thought, transcending the body, senses and mind. I am just using the term transcending. It is more resolution of all of them. Now tell me, is it an ordinary phenomenon? If waking up is so important, I tell you, before one wakes up, what one is it less important? I tell you, the pre-waking nature, the pre-waking state, I think is much more important. I mean, that gives a clue to what you are after waking up. In fact, what wave is before it rises gives a clue to what it is after rising. You see, before the wave rises, it is water. Even when it rises, it is water. And therefore, apranaha iva itcha. Thus, here the author has quoted two Shruti Vakyas to show that a human being need not die to be free, need not die to be peaceful, need not die to be happy, need not die to be free from frustrations. He can recognize himself, which is by nature peace and happiness and free, and therefore jivataha api, well vidushaha, ashariratvam. One can gain freedom only while being alive. It is not that really, well, one can gain freedom also through while being alive. No, there is no. One can only gain freedom. Alive one can know and be free. Dead one cannot be free, because by committing suicide, because life is full of pressures, and therefore sometimes when one is too much under pressure, then he thinks, then he starts, how wonderful it would be to put an end to my life. It becomes, very fascinating, because life becomes too boring, because every day you are living, and life becomes a monotony, and then too many problems, too many pressures. Then one gets fascinated by the thought, how wonderful it would be to put an end to life. And there are people really, there are groups in Japan, they die in groups. They telephone one another and dance a group. Coordinating. They coordinate with one. And then they die. It's all what? It's all meaningless, because there is no culture that talks about what is life, what is death, what is truth, what is dharma, what is adharma, what is satyam, what is mithya, what is the secret behind life is not taught. For them, culture means what? How to live, how to eat, how to drink, how to wear your food and your clothes, and this forms the culture. Their lifestyle becomes the culture. Not the kind of culture that we have, which educates man about what life is and what death is, what sleep is, what waking is, what truth is, what the Srishti is. This is a different thing. And therefore one should learn to love, to live and know. Life should be Smritirapicha. Now, Bhagavan quotes Bhagavad Gita also. See, we have Sthita Prajnasya Ka Bhasha. Arjuna asked the question, Bhagavan, tell me the qualities of Sthita Prajna. What are the qualities of Sthita Prajna? Sthita Prajna means a Brahmajnani, basically, whose prajna is clear. Sthita. Sthita means irrefutable knowledge. It's called Sthita Prajna, not abiding knowledge. Knowledge, it doesn't have to be knowledge, it doesn't have to abide. Right knowledge without choice remains without irrefutability is the stability. Irrefutability of a fact is its stability. Not a protection of it is its stability. Not it. Therefore, Sthita Prajna does not mean the one whose knowledge is firm, is firm, whose knowledge is firm and abiding, whose knowledge is not wavering, vagaira, vagaira. This is the translation that they give. These are all theological translations, not Shastriya. Shastriya translation is the one who has gained the right knowledge and which cannot be refutable. Why? Because it is true to the nature of the fact, and therefore irrefutable vision about the self is choicelessly irrefutable, and therefore it is sthita. Such a person is called sthita prajna. Any wrong vision, is it sthita? Sthita means sthira. Any error about the truth, is it sthira? Say, even if it remains, but it is available for refutation. Like a person may take a stand. This is snake alone and nothing else. It's very sthita. I am very firm that it is snake. I am very firm that it is snake. Looks what? Sthita, sthira, firm, abiding vision. Hey, even if it is abiding vision, but it is available for refutation. It is available for correction. And what is available for correction, even if it is held on to by a person, but still, it is not sthita. It is mithya jnana. It is mithya jnana. And therefore, here Arjuna asked the question, please tell me the qualities of sthita prajna. Sthita prajna se ka bhasha. And ityadya, and a vakya like this, sthita prajna lakshanani achakshana. And the verses coming in that particular portion, they describe the nature of, they describe the qualities of a person. They describe the qualities of a person. Who is a Brahmajnani, Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna Lakshanani Achakshana. Talking about the qualities of a Brahmajnani. Vidushaha. Now, what are those qualities? Vidushaha sarva pravritti asambandham darshayati. Wonderful. The only quality, all verses mean only that he is free from pravritti and nivritti. What great qualities. Pravritti asambandham. Vidushaha for a vidwan. Sarva pravritti asambandham means freedom from pravritti and darshayati shows. These verses only show that a Brahmajnani is free from both pravritti and nivritti. Why? Because he knows the reality that is free from pravritti and nivritti. And in ignorance of our own, in ignorance of myself, and looking at myself as an individual, I am always busy with pravritti and nivritti. Let me gain this so that I can become happy. Let me lose this, get rid of this so that I can be happy. In this manner, man is by nature, by subhava, he is lost in pravrittis and nivrittis, and freedom from pravrittis and nivrittis. That means his thinking doesn't pertain to, pursuing and withdrawing. His thinking pertains to knowing what is. What am I and what am I not? What is the Jagat and what it is not? Determining what it is and what it is not. What is its identity and what is not its identity. Object as an object is not its identity. Object as non-separate from the drashta is its identity. That is reality is not its identity. that it is a mere perception is its identity, and that it is not separate from awareness is its identity. Like dream as an object is not its identity. Dream object as myself is its identity, because it resolves into myself. Even when it was seen, it was not outside the seer. The dreamt was never outside the dreamer. The dreamt was never outside the dreamer, even when it was dreamt, and afterwards it resolves into the very dream, to the very subject. Thus a jnani, a jignasu or a jnani does not think in terms of what to gain and what to lose, what to get and what to get rid of, what to buy and what to sell, what to do and what not to do. He thinks in terms of what I am and what am I not, and what this universe is and what it is not, what the waking is and what it is and what it is not, what sleep is and what it is not, what life is and what it is not, what death is, what it is not. Waking as another state, it is not. Waking as non-separate from the Vastu, it is non-separate from the Vastu. Sushupti is Advitiyam, Jagrati is Advitiyam, Swapna is Advitiyam, Janma is Advitiyam, Mrityu is Advitiyam. In this manner, he thinks in terms of only what is and what is not. And therefore, see, there are two kinds of thinking. One is Vastu Nirdharanam, the other is called Pravritti Nivritti. Understand? Pravritti Nivritti means try to get something and try to get rid of something. That is a Pravritti Nivritti. That's called struggle. Struggle is always in the form of Pravritti Nivritti. Whereas the thinking in terms of what we are and what we are not is not another kind of struggle. It is the means to put an end to struggle. Put an end to struggle. Even though it is an effort of understanding and an effort of pravritti and nivritti, there are two kinds of effort. The effort of pravritti nivritti does not eliminate the effort of pravritti and nivritti, whereas the effort of understanding eliminates the effort of pravritti and nivritti plus even the effort of understanding. Because the effort of understanding resolves in understanding. And therefore, it is the pramanam, the sadhanam for moksha. That's it. Tasmatu, therefore, na avagata brahmatma bhavasya. A person who understands the subject as Brahman for him, yatha purvam as before, sansaritvam na. He cannot be a sansari after knowledge. Because the Purvapakshi had put up an objection, you see, we see in this world even great Brahmajnanis also, living like sansaris. They are also struggling for ye mile, wo mile, ye mile, wo mile, ye mile, wo mile. They are also looking for vagera, vagera, vagera. So what is the use of this Brahmajnanam? Therefore Brahmajnanam doesn't solve the problem, but Brahma Upasana solves the problem. You understand, you see, this is what happens. Brahma Jnana means only mere theoretical knowledge that Atma is Brahma. They will bring in theoretical and all that. You see, you give him a stick, naturally he will beat you. You give a stick to him. And therefore, so mere knowledge will not help you, mere theory will not help you. Just knowing that I am Brahman is not going to help you. In fact, you have to worship that Brahman that you know. It is that Brahma Upasana that is going to bail you out. And therefore, Brahma Jnanam is not the solution, Brahma Upasana is the solution, and therefore the topic of Vedanta is not Brahma Jnanam, the topic of Vedanta is Brahma Upasana. And therefore, Brahma Upasana is a karma, and therefore Vedanta is a part of Karma Kanda. Vedanta is not another topic. Because Karma Kanda is karma, and Vedanta is Brahma Upasana, and Upasana means what? Purusha Tantra Vyapara, and therefore even mental action is an action. Karma Kanda is physical action, Vedanta is mental action, and therefore mental action is a part of physical action, and therefore Brahma Vidya. You can't say Brahma Vidya is the central topic of the Shabda Pramanam Vedanta, you can't. All these arguments you put forward by the Purva Pakshi, and that's being dismissed here by this Siddhanti, my dear sir. Don't say that a Brahmajnani continues to be a sansari even after Brahmajnanam. And therefore, Tasma na avagata brahmatma bhavasya yatha sansaritvam. Yasya tu yatha sansaritvam. If there is someone who thinks that he is a Brahmajnani and continues to be a sansari, yatha sansaritvam, nasau avagata brahmatma bhavaha. He doesn't know. He thinks he knows, but he doesn't know. Na avagata brahmatma bhavaha. Iti anavadyam. It is inviolable. Inviolable. That a sansari is not Brahmajnani, he is inviolable, and therefore my statement that the Brahmajnanam is final, not Brahma Upasana. Brahmajnanam is final. Brahma is the Vastu, the topic, is also Anavadyam. My Vakya is flawless. I am translating this word Anavadyam in two meanings. One, inviolability is that a sansari is not, if a person is a sansari, if he is a sansari, I don't know if he is a sansari. If he is a sansari, he is not Brahmajnani. And if he is a Brahmajnani, he is not a sansari. And therefore, Brahmajnanam is the answer to sansara solution. Therefore, that is final. And therefore, it is not that really the Vedanta, the topic of Vedanta is Brahma Upasana. Brahma Upasana is not final. Brahma Jnanam is final. As a sadhanam for Brahma Jnanam, as a means to understand Brahman, he may do as a student, one can do Brahma Upasana. Hey Bhagavan, help me understand you. That is called Brahma Upasana. Great, there is nothing, it is such a simple thing. God help me understand you. That is called Brahma Upasana. All Upasana is in this form. If a Vedanta Vidyarthi does Brahma Upasana, he would say like this: God help me understand you. God help me God help me keep in good health. God, let there be Shanti around me. Let there be no Adi Bhautika problem, Adi Daivika problem, Adhyatmika problem. Let there be no problem outside and inside, so that I can really think about you and understand you. This is called Brahma Upasana. This prayer. Prayer. Pray and meet. There are only two places. There are only two individuals who pray and meet. And that is, a Vedanta Vidyarthi means his prayer, because he is student. And when you are gambling in a casino, there you pray and mean. Why? Because there you are a artharthi, and here you are a jignyasa. You mean it. In fact, we always mean our prayers when we are in trouble. We don't mean our prayer when all is well. Then it is more a ritual. Like in sab achhe hain, bachche theek hain, business is doing well, health is all right, and then really you celebrate it, which is like a ritual. Logon ko bulayenge, Bhagwan ka picture bhi rakhenge. But it is not really, you are not crying in prayer. In fact, a prayer which you mean is that really you exhibit your helplessness. Without exhibiting or without showing, without stating one's helplessness, there is no prayer. Without stating one's helplessness. When I am helpless, I mean my prayer. Bhagwan bachao, that you mean it. You pray with your heart and soul, and therefore sometimes, when you get difficulties in life and you really intensely pray, I tell you, maybe those difficulties teach you how to pray. One doesn't have to take them as a misfortune or anything. Otherwise, one doesn't even know how to pray. Without difficulties, he never knows how to pray. How to just cry in his own heart. And therefore, anyway, well, Brahmopasana, please let us not make a big issue out of it. It is a simple prayer raised by a student of Vedanta. And the value, it's a value, not the topic. Brahmopasana is a value. Brahma Vidya is the topic. Clear? And therefore, yasya tu yatha purna samsaritvam nasam avagata brahmatma bhavaha iti anavadyam. Next comes a little elaborate point. This point we'll see. See in the next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.